If you're thinking about moving into a 55 plus community, you might want to hold on, because what I'm about to show you could save you from a decision that might hit your wallet and your peace of mind harder than you'd think. A 55 plus community, it probably sounds perfect, right? You know, you've got the peace and quiet, no kids running around, no teenagers throwing wild parties late into the night. But here's the thing, a lot of people buy into these age-restricted communities because they think it's going to be the ideal setup, only to find themselves in a lifestyle that they never bargained for. And with changes to BC Strata Property Act in 2023, there is a new twist. Some strata councils have switched to 55 plus stratas just to keep tighter control over rentals. And this might sound like it's meant to help seniors, but it's already creating a range of unintended problems that might impact your property value, also limit your freedom, and make day-to-day life feel a lot more complicated than what you had signed up for. So stick around while I take you through the most important things you need to know before buying in. And trust me, you're going to want to hear each and every one of them, especially the last one. All right, so let's kick things off with resale flexibility. Buying into a 55 plus property, it means only people 55 and older can buy in. That may not seem like a big deal if you're thinking about moving in and staying for a while, but when it comes time to sell, well, you're dealing with a much smaller buyer pool. And now with the changes to BC Strata Property Act, some strata councils are converting to 55 plus stratas just to keep a tighter lid on who rents there. Now, it's supposed to help seniors, but here's the catch. This shift, it limits your potential renters to people over 55, and that cuts down on market interest in a big way. So, imagine this, you're suddenly in a rush to sell, only to find out that most buyers are either too young to qualify or they're not interested in an age-restricted community. And in a changing market, this can mean taking a financial hit or even holding on to a property way longer than you had planned. And who wants to be in that kind of a situation? By the way, really quick, if you're new to this channel, my name is Glen Hopkins, and I create videos all about Canadian real estate, especially around my local market of Vancouver and the Fraser Valley area. So if that is something you're interested in, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you're not going to miss out on any of my upcoming videos. And of course, if you would like my help with either buying or selling a home in the greater Vancouver area, there is a link in the description box below where you can schedule a call with me. And if you're anywhere else in Canada and you need a referral to a fantastic agent, don't worry. I've got you covered. I know amazing agents throughout the country that I can gladly connect you with. All right, so let's keep going. And this is something that catches a lot of people off guard. These communities, they have rules and they're not always what you'd expect. You might see limits on everything from parking to pets, even how long your grandkids can visit you. And almost every change, it has to go through Strata Council. And you'll be reminded constantly of what you cannot do. It kind of starts to feel like you're back in high school, only now your teachers are your neighbors. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not the idea of a freedom-filled retirement that I would like. I mean, who wants to feel like they're sneaking around just so they can have family come visit them? And here's another thing that a lot of people don't always expect, and that is strata fees. If you look around and you see these great amenities in the 55 plus communities, things like pools, clubhouses, well-kept grounds, but all of that, it comes at a price. Strata fees, they're often high to cover these amenities. And with most residents on a fixed income, any sudden increase, it can create stress. And you're going to feel that tension throughout the entire community. Trust me on this. And here's the kicker. If major repairs come up and there isn't enough in the reserve fund, well, you're going to get hit with a special levy. So, imagine the retirement surprise of suddenly owing thousands of dollars on a new roof or an elevator repair. It's not exactly what most of us plan for. And trust me, there's an even more unexpected downside to 55 plus communities that I'm going to share with you in just a second. But first, let's talk a little bit about the social vibe. People flock to 55 plus communities for the peace and quiet. And hey, I get it. Sometimes we'd all just rather skip the noise of kids playing outside or, teenagers throwing parties. And if you're looking for that kind of peace, a 55 plus community, it's going to seem perfect. But here's the trade-off. You're also opting out of a younger neighborhood, okay? And younger families, they bring a unique energy to that neighborhood. They bring laughter, spontaneity, and a diversity of age that makes the place feel alive. And it's worth remembering that we tend to reflect the people that we are around the most. And if you're in a community with only older folks, you might start to feel a little bit older yourself. Whereas on the flip side, being around younger people, it can bring an energy and it can make you feel younger at heart. And with the recent changes to BC Strata Property Act, 55 plus communities are now required to allow younger family members like adult children, spouses, and dependents to live with current residents. So while that means that residents can expand their families, it also means that the quiet vibe you had expected may not be that quiet after all. And here's something that catches a lot of people off guard, and that is property appreciation. Yes, real estate, it generally goes up over time, but 55 plus communities, well, they don't always follow that trend. The demand, it's much more niche. Not everyone wants to buy an age-restricted property. So while surrounding properties are going up, your 55 plus unit might not see the same kind of gains. And with some strata councils converting 55 plus stratas to restrict rentals, it's even less appealing to potential buyers. Fewer buyers, it means lower demand. And lower demand, well, it's not exactly great for your property's appreciation. Now, another thing that a lot of people often don't realize is that strata rules are not set in stone. They can and they do change. Just look at the recent changes in the BC Strata Property Act. Well, 55 plus communities used to have strict limits on who could live in the unit. New rules allow younger family members like grandchildren and dependents to join residents. So it's designed to help families, but not everyone sees this as a positive. And these adjustments show just how easily bylaws can shift. And of course, as a resident, you would have to accept them, even if they're not what you had signed up for. Also, lifestyles can be a lot more restrictive than what you might think. A lot of people, they think that moving into a 55 plus community will be like a permanent vacation. But the reality is these communities, they have that slower pace, routine group activities, and lots of quiet. And here's something that most people don't expect. In these communities, as residents grow older, they tend to stay inside more often, and you might find your neighbors becoming less visible over time. So it can start to feel a little bit lonely, almost like you're living in an empty community. Now, that's perfect for some folks, but if you're someone who enjoys energy, activities, and variety, the slower, predictable environment, it can feel stifling. And it's easy to get lulled into thinking it'll be perfect, only to miss the hustle and bustle of, a more diverse community. Another really important one is the limited opportunities for rental income. So, let's say that you want the option to rent out your property. Well, a 55 plus community might make that tough. Most of these properties have strict rental rules, and in BC, rentals in these communities are restricted to seniors only who are 55 plus. So if you ever need to move out temporarily or rent your unit, likely you're going to run into some roadblocks. And guys, if you thought that those restrictions were tough, just wait till you hear about the changes that have taken place in the real estate world that affect the way you sell your house. Let's just say that pretty much everything has changed. So if you want to make sure that your current home can sell for top dollar without getting screwed, make sure that you watch this next video. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to book a call with me using the link below in the description. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video.